Hi YouTubers, this is the Alric Show. Don't just watch, but subscribe and share for life-changing stories and stories to make you laugh. Like, subscribe, and share.
The Alric Show, inspiration, motivation, one vision, hope to a new generation. Together we can live and learn. Yes, we're one family on the Alric Show.
Orville Hall, known as the dance professor, has traveled the world teaching dance and entertaining audiences. He's a very busy man, and today we're lucky to have him on the show. Orville, how are you doing?
Blessed love, brother.
You're mad.
Respect.
Blessings. As I said that we can't shake hands now.
Yeah. So,
Welcome to the show, man.
yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Orville, what I admire about you is that you carry yourself well. You know, and so how you carry yourself, you deem yourself as a man who earns the respect from a lot of people.
Yeah, which is very important to me. Earning respect, and I'm not trying to demand or command it from people. You know?
Orville, how do you stay above the noise in such a busy dancehall space?
It takes me back to when I was at Exeter Community College, and we were given a poem to read called Desiderata, that says, go placidly amid the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. And it's something that stayed with me for years, you know, knowing that even when the noise is around you, you have to try and find that inner peace. So I do a lot of meditation, like I meditate a lot and try to stay in shape, because meditation really helps you to get the noise from around you, because if you're in a space where there is physical and literal noise, you can't necessarily say to people, you know, be quiet if it's a public space. But how do you zone in? You know, how do you get to that place inside that you're able to still focus?
For a lot of us, life would have taught us a lot of lessons. But how do we shift our mindset to embrace a lot of these lessons?
Well, it's absolutely important. When we go into meetings, and it's life lessons, you know, when they tell you that you're going brainstorm means you throw nothing out.
Yes.
You take everything in, and you sift through that to pick certain things. So when some people hear people talk and say, hey, that's nonsense, that don't make no sense, like, it might make the most sense.
Take the nonsense.
So, right, so if you work from that premise, then you'll understand that life itself is your biggest teacher. You know, so if you just listen and be able to go through certain things and pick out what is good for you.
What would be that valuable lesson that you would have learned, or experience that you would have had, that would have brought you to this place in this moment in time of your life, to say your mindset is important, to keep your mind in shape is important?
When I started traveling and realized that the noise out there is real.
Yes.
You know, so is when I started traveling and realizing that your mindset because things that happen in your country that you are sensitized to, you have a whole different ball game out in the world. You know, so if you're not grounded, if your mindset not internal, where you can really focus on what is happening, then you can lose yourself easily. You know, easily.
Wow. How do you maintain that peace? Because earlier you talked about peace. How do you maintain that peace within yourself?
You have to reserve a portion of the day. And for some people, it can be 10 minutes, you know. But you have to reserve a portion of the day where you are not distracted by any happenings around you, just to find that moment. You know, so like me, I started with half an hour, you know, just half an hour, no cell phone, no television, no ray. We'll just sit and just the things that you truly would want for yourself, for your personal development, for development of people around you. You just take a moment with yourself and really think about it, you know, will it to yourself, you know, tell yourself that this is what you want and this is what you're going for.
A lot of us, we don't do this, and we give up ourselves to people. We just pour out and pour out and pour out and pour out, and then before you know it, we're probably trapped in depression or something like that. We have to conserve that part of ourselves.
You have to, because you will have toxic people around you.
Yeah.
You can be toxic, you know.
Yes.
I learned it because I was once toxic, and some people will point it out to you. Some people will just move from around you because you're toxic. But you have to you have to big up the people that will say to you, you're toxic, you know, you might need to fix yourself.
But you have to be in a position or in a place as well to accept that, because acceptance is also important.
It's very important. And then, you know, acceptance going to come one out of two ways. You're going to either be so mad at yourself that you realize that you're the problem, or you listen to when people talk.
Or everybody else is the problem.
Right. Because once you start realizing that, or feeling that everybody else is the problem, then, you know.
How did you know that dancing would have been a part of your purpose?
Because it chose me. I didn't choose dancing. Dancing chose me. That's how I feel. Anything you go to your bed thinking about, it's the last thing you think about and the first thing you think about in the morning. That's what you should be doing. That's what you should be doing, you know. As long as it is not something that is going to hurt anybody, you know. And when I remember my oldest brother took me out of the house when I was 7 years old and put me in a dance competition, and I won a bottle of soda, you know, and the joy that it brought to other people, and the joy that it brought me. And as I got older, that is what kept me going. The joy that it brought other people as well.
You know, I must touch on that point, because a lot of us, we do things so much that we're there, you know, like we're pouring back into ourselves, and we're so proud of it. But it is really how you change lives and impact lives.
How you change lives, it's important. I did a commercial years ago, and in the commercial, I had to lift up one foot like I'm playing a guitar and my leg and bounce across the TV screen, and literally that was the high point of the commercial. And I remember I was in New Kingston one day, and a man had his daughter. She was about 5 or 6 years old, and she saw me just lose a bank card, and kind of confused, and I try to figure it out. And him said to me, him daughter would have loved me do that little thing. So I said, no, you know, I deal with something, you know. And the little girl started crying.
Oh, mercy.
So, you know, so I have to lift up my foot in a New Kingston and do the little move here, because it brought her peace. That's what she saw. When you reach a certain level in life, you can't become if you're going to become a role model, it can't be an occasional role model.
Yeah.
You get me? I say you can't do it when you feel like it. You can't do it because you do something now and everybody rave about it, but you do something and people question it, but you say, we never tell nobody say he's a role model. It's not an occasional thing.
So you need to choose.
You have to choose, yeah. Because once you step on stage, you start influencing others. There's somebody who won't point and say, no, I want to be like that person. There's a number of youth out there that wants to be a Alric, that wants to say, oh, that's how I would like to sit on television and deliver myself and interview people and speak to people. So I always have to be aware of that. And that is what builds communities.
True. Isn't that a lot of pressure, though, on you, Orville, that you have to live up to the expectations that you put forward initially?
Yeah, it starts out that way. Them say the head that wears a crown is always troubled. So it starts out that way. But once you realize that this is your purpose,
yes,
then you know it becomes a little easier, because you're not putting it on, it's not fabricated.
All right, more with Orville Hall when we come back.
Alric Show.
Orville Hall has made his mark in dance in Jamaica and across the world, and is doing everything possibly can to preserve the dancehall culture. Now, Orville, how important is this to you, preserving the dancehall culture? Are we far way off from where we used to be?
No, I think we're doing better now. But for me, it's very important, because you know your culture is who you are, is who, you know, it's what comes out of your people.
Yes.
And I think it is very important. And because I've always thought that dance is one of the least respected, and this is no disrespect to anybody, but it's one of the least respected forms in our culture, then you know I see the need to raise it to a level, because dance has been a part of the storytelling of the whole development of the Jamaican culture. But when we look at our actors, we've had actors in Hollywood, We've had Mad Sinclair, we've had a number of them out there with music, if we're going further than Bob Marley and a number of them. But when it comes down to dance now, the dance always seem like the backup gig, the backup dancers and stuff. So this is why I think that we should, find a way to put it out there as something that can be a career choice, something that has its own voice.
You started to let the voice get a lot louder to dance expressions in the studio.
Yes. I started that when I was at EXED as a part of the Performing Arts Department. I wrote, with the help of the teachers there, the first dancehall course outline. The only issue was because it's a Methodist institution, it was difficult to label it dancehall. So it is after I left EXED that I started writing another course outline that is now in front of NC TVET for accreditation, because I want people to understand that we can have a dancehall course outline that is taught in schools.
But isn't it sad though that dance hall, the course could not be called dance hall? Let's say dance hall.
Yeah, for me it's sad. It's sad because the name is stereotyped and linked to a certain group of people, and
through the eyes of foreigners, how do they look on dancehall here versus how we look at it?
It's a phenomenon in the world, brother. It's a real phenomenon in the rest of the world. And I started seeing that in 2012 when I started my journey overseas as a dance teacher. That's when I started seeing. When I say 100 people gather for a dancehall camp, it was amazing by every standard, because if you see 50 people gathered anywhere in the world for dancehall, it is because it is a part of a bigger genre, a hip-hop thing or something.
How did you learn to dance? Because I've been trying to dance for years, Orville, and it's not working out. How can you help people like myself who just cannot dance? No matter what the rhythm is, I am always off. Just if I broke my foot and put it back, still it's just not working out. Can you help people like myself?
Yeah, man. I was born to dance, so it's not difficult for me. However, the challenge was, how do you teach the non-dancer to dance? That's the challenge for a dancer, because
you only need to teach all the producers inside here, because none of them can dance.
And then I realized now, I had to teach myself to teach people. So I had to go as slow as possible. Right now, so when you got the shoulder fling, it is coming forward now.
Okay.
So you got to go so. Yeah. So give me a bounce with it, now you go so 1.
All right.
So it's
1.
Yeah. So when it just bounce it back.
Right.
Man shoulder for your fling.
All right, come on. Cool.
Man shoulder for your fling.
Cool.
See that?
All right.
You get what I say?
All right.
So once you start understanding that,
just take it slow.
Once you understand what the body is doing, then and then in the comfort of your own space now, you start understanding. Say, okay, so it's not just a push forward, but it's a bounce. So it goes forward and goes back.
All right.
You get what I say?
Okay. All right.
But it's a process like a number of things, and your teacher is very important.
I wanted to talk to you about a dancehall icon, Mr. Waki, Bogle, right? How do you remember that personality and the mark that he would have left in the dancehall space?
When Bogle said everybody can dance, but not everybody a dancer.
You're talking about me on the last slide.
Right. And suppose me tell you say that argument was geared more towards dancers. Yeah. To be a true dancer, you must be able to tell your story through your body. To be a true dancer, you must be able to teach somebody else the joy of movement. That is what I got from that statement.
The joy of
movement. And that is what I got from that statement.
Interesting talk with Orville Hall. We take a break. When we come back, we continue the conversation. Welcome back to the show. Orville Hall is a popular personality in dance and dancehall. Once you say Orville, you know the man. Orville, the love of your life, your mother. Tell us about the early years with your mother.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. My best friend, man. My best friend. I always say, my parents are very supportive. But that lady, Miss Laurel, yeah, man. And she just celebrated our 85th birthday.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What did you do to celebrate that?
carry go by Helshaw.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Carry go by Helshaw makes you sit down and just take in the breeze a little bit, you know. And that was, and then when we got back home, we do a little party setting for her, you know. But it was just important for me to get her out of the house a little bit, you know, all with this whole COVID thing going on, and she has been strong right through. She's a warrior princess, brother.
Mercy.
Warrior princess.
What did it mean to you, or what does it mean to you to spend moments with the love of your life?
Keeps me grounded. Absolutely grounded. Absolutely grounded. Our wisdom, our love, our affection, you know what I mean? It's overwhelming, you know. When I talk about my mother, I always get emotional because, she's absolutely supportive, brother. You know what I mean? That woman, real warrior.
How did you see, how did you see your mom fight to ensure that you would live the best life or provide for you in the best way that she know how to?
Well, all right. Because mom and dad are still together.
Yeah.
And my father is a little more, you know, he has arthritis. But he was the farmer.
Oh.
He was the farmer.
So you know how to farm?
Yes, man.
Yeah.
Yes, man. I have a backyard farm.
Yeah.
Little backyard farm.
What you grow there?
We have a couple of things now. We have pepper. Quickly, we have pumpkin. We have yam. We have a nice little lime tree.
Entire industry around the back.
Yes, man. Yeah, man.
Yes.
Man. So we do a little thing. So we got that. I got that from him. So he was the one, and that was part of what gave me this kind of calm as well. Because sometimes when he go up into the hills, he would take us with him when he's farming. You know, you just sit there and you listen to the birds and you watch him tilling the soil and all of that. And then my mother now, because we grew up poor, you know, brother. Like we grew up really poor. Now.
How poor is poor?
Poor is the outside kitchen. Poor is your mother doing what they call crash program work. I don't know if you know. Crash program workers were the ones who sweep the street. You know, crash program workers, you're driving, you're coming from school, you're on the bus, you see your mother sweeping the street, you stop and you sit with her for a little bit.
In those early years of your life, when you'd be on your way from school or anywhere and you see your mother sweeping the streets, what did you tell yourself about the life that you would want for yourself and to change aspects of her life?
Yeah, man, I just wouldn't want to see her out there another day. Every time I saw her out there, because we had to go through, myself and my brother had to go through ridicule from students. You know, we went to St. Richard's Primary. You know, some of the students that went to St. Richard's Primary were well-off students. So if I'm sitting on the sidewalk with my mother while she's there sweating and just taking a break to drink some water, some of them would drive past and laugh.
How did you handle the ridicule?
Oh, it's hard. My mother had to calm me down because I was a hothead. I was a hothead and I was ready because you're talking down at my mother and you're telling, you know, you come to school and telling people, say, your mother sweeps street. She's in the street and Ray, but she did everything that was within the law to make sure that we go to school. I remember the days when it was crackers and lemonade that put us to bed. I remember the days when turned cornmeal was our meal on a Sunday, you know. So I remember a girlfriend of mine years ago couldn't understand when my mother made turned cornmeal, you know, with fish and thing and gave her, and she said, well, I never know so turned cornmeal can eat so. And she wanted me to taste some, and I said no. And she couldn't understand why I was so, you know, agitated about it. I've had enough turned cornmeal to serve me for a lifetime, like, you know, I'm good now. It's now, since I'm older, like me said, you know, whip up some turned cornmeal because it can. But that was with Sunday dinner, brother. That, you know, so I told myself, and we're one of the fortunate one where you come out of the inner city and mother and father stayed together.
Yeah.
So it's not a broken home. So if you tell we about love, we know what love is. You know, tell we about how to treat a woman, we know that. And even in the community of Jacksontown, you know, we grew up and see a lot of that. A lot of parents staying together and doing the work to ensure that their kids go to good schools.
As we talk about love and your mother and father staying together, how about you and marriage? Is that something that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, man.
Or you prefer being a boyfriend opposed to being a husband?
No, man, we're going into that area right now. We're going into that area soon. Yeah. And I've
Think you
been
want to
with
tell me
Shelley.
when?
No, we're not going to disclose that yet. But I've been with my spouse for years, and we have an outstanding relationship. We have an outstanding relationship, and like my mother, she's my best friend. Because you live what you learn. I saw how my father deal with my mother all the time, and he gave me a valuable life lesson. When they get upset, you just stop talking. Yeah, when them get upset, shh, hush, wait, let them calm down, and then go talk to them.
Deal with it.
Yeah.
Can't fight fire with fire.
No.
Because for them fire hotter.
And for them think that. So you have to just humble yourself, know where your strength is, and know when you have to just calm down.
The value of friendship. At what point did you start to really embrace friendship in a relationship? Because so many of us, we jump right into it. Yeah?
Yeah.
But when everything else, the heat and the passion and all those things kind of dwindle, then everything
you realize,
goes.
Society tell us about relationship and kind of divide relationship from friendship. You get what I say? So you can't divide the two. You should really put friendship first and make it develop into a relationship. So there's always friendship to fall back on. You know what I say? Because the certain passion and certain steam will always lull down a little bit, but there will always be friendship. You must always have things to talk about, and in my relationship, there are times when I am on tour for a month, so I have a lot of things to come back and talk about, and then there are times when she's on tour for a month or 2 months, and there's things to talk about. The business is run by both of us, so we're always planning.
Is there any dance move that you created?
Yeah, one of my most popular dance moves is a move called Roxo.
How's Roxo?
Just this with the hand.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, man.
That's what I saw. Can do,
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Right.
We just call it Roxo.
Cool.
I focus on teaching because that's where my strength lies. So I did that dance. I didn't know it would have gotten the kind of attention it did. I've had
a lot of other collabs.
I've had a couple popular dances in the street, but if you're going to call a dance a hit dance, it would be Roxo.
Roxo.
It would be Roxo.
All right, Orville Hall, thank you so very much, sir.
Blessed. And
for being on the Alric Show. I appreciate it. It has been a good moment on this show, and we look forward to seeing you doing great things.
Yeah, man.
All right, so we're about to Roxo out of this episode of the Alric Show, and we want to thank Orville Hall for sharing with us today on this episode. Join us next week for another Alric Show.
Alric Show.